Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am doing my team if I was in the Pokemon anime part 3. Part 2 was Sinnoh through Kalos, which is all of these guys. And then part 1 are all of these Kanto through Hoenn Pokemon. So now it's time for Alola and Galar. So my first never mind. So I would arrive on Malamar Island in the Ulula region and meet Professor Kukui. He would immediately let me choose between the Alola starters, which are the grass type Rowlet, the fire type Litten, and the water type Popplio. And you guys know I love grass types, so Rowlet would be my choice. So I would be training with Rowlet and Bulbasaur, but then I would see a Litten walking around the city, and then I would chase it to catch it. My Rowlet would be able to beat him in a battle, and then I'll catch it, getting me a Litten. So now it was time to go back to Professor Kukui, and I would show him my Litten. Then I decided to walk around and see what I could find. And I found this Pokemon called Grubbin. Now you might be looking at the screen and being like, wait, that's not a normal Grubbin. That's because I found a shiny Grubbin. Yep, I wanted a shiny Pokemon. I got one. Shiny Grubbin in the bag. I went to show Professor Kukui, and he told me that was a shiny Grubbin. Since I hadn't seen one before, I thought that was normal. But I don't know. But Professor Kukui said that was a cool Grubbin. Apparently there was a battle festival going on today. So I trained up my Pokemon super hard, and I met this trainer called Hao, who's gonna be my opponent. And then I met the Kahuna Hala, who was also Hao's grandfather. So Hao had a Popplio because I chose Rowlet. So now he sent his Pichu into battle because he had a Pichu up first. And I used my shiny Grubbin. Everyone looked at my Grubbin and all, seeing its cool shiny, and the audience cheered with applause after I defeated his Pichu. And next up was his Popplio. Grubbin could do some damage, but not a lot, so Popplio easily got the win. So I just switched into Rowlet, and I took him down easily with a Leaf Edge. Sorry, okay. Me and Professor Kukui went to Haloili City, and then we heard that Team Skull Grunts were causing trouble at the marina. So we quickly ran over to the marina where I met the trial captain of the Island Challenge in Alima. And together, me and Alima defeated the two Team Skull Grunts. And then I had to have a battle with Alima. My Grubbin was able to take down his Yungoos and ended up also taking down his Smeargle as well. Then nothing else changed as I made my way to Verdant's Cavern, the trial site. I met Alima there again, and we went in the Verdant Cavern. And after completing the trial, I went into this cave, and it had a Normalium Z. I ran up there, but then there was this giant totem Pokemon called Gumshoes. I remembered Alima told me about the totem Pokemon, but I forgot. So now it was time to battle him. My first Pokemon I used was Grubbin. Grubbin had been a really big help, like defeating Alima's Yungoos and Smeargle when we battled on the marina, and defeating Hao's Pichu, and doing some good damage to Hao's Popplio in the battle festival. But this totem Pokemon was stronger than any other Pokemon I had faced in the Ulula region. Grubbin didn't stand a chance. And next up, I brought in Rowlet, who was able to dodge some attacks with his flying, but he couldn't do much damage back. And even when he did, and even if he did get a pretty good damage on it, good damage with Leafage or Wing Attack, Gumshoes wouldn't go down easily. So eventually, Rowlet got tired, and Gumshoes hit him with a tackle, taking him down. Next up, I sent Bulbasaur into battle. Bulbasaur was able to do more damage to Gumshoes than Grubbin and Rowlet, but Bulbasaur just had trouble dodging attacks and ultimately went down to a tackle, leaving only my Litten. I led my Litten in the battle, and Litten was able to dodge and do damage good. I sensed Litten was close to evolving, but I didn't think anything of it. Litten just went in for the scratch, and it took down Gumshoes, getting me my Normalium Z. I decided to put the Normalium Z with Rowlet for now, as I was hoping that there would be more. But apparently that was the only trial on Melee Island. So now it was time to battle the Grand Trial. Do my Grand Trial against Kunahala. I knew I would have to train up a lot. I trained my Pokemon up vigorously to get ready for my battle with Kunahala. And my Litten ended up evolving into a Torracat in the process. Then I remembered in Verdant Cavern when Litten was battling Gumshoes that I sensed it would evolve soon. And I guess I was right. But now that Torracat evolved and none of my other Pokemon did, I was kind of relying on Torracat and Bulbasaur. Even though I should have been relying on Rowlet, as he's the one with the super effective damage. Alright, so now let's just cut to our battle. And I went on the battlefield. It was the same place that I had battled Hau in the Battle Festival in Iki Town. It was time. Hala led with his Mankey. Yeah, and then I sent in my shiny Grubbin. I was used to bug Pokemon evolving early, like my Beedrill. When it was a Weedle, it quickly evolved into Kakuna and quickly into Beedrill. And my only other bug Pokemon, I think, was Heracross. I'm looking, yeah. My only bug Pokemon were Beedrill and Heracross. Heracross doesn't evolve, and Beedrill evolved early. So my way of seeing bug-type Pokemon is they evolve pretty early. So I was surprised Grubbin hadn't evolved yet. And I didn't sense any evolution coming soon. But enough of that talk. So Grubbin went in for the Bug Bite on Mankey. It did some good damage, but then it got hit by a Karate Chop. Grubbin instantly got back up and went in for a string shot. That kept Mankey in place long enough for Grubbin to go in with Bug Bite, taking down Mankey. Next up was the Makuhita. Grubbin couldn't handle the Makuhita as well. And Grubbin was going in for a Bug Bite, but Makuhita used Arm Thrust, taking down Grubbin. Next up, I brought in Rowlet. Rowlet was able to easily dodge Makuhita's Arm Thrusts and was able to go in for Wing Attack. It did a lot of damage, so Rowlet was then able to use Leafage to take down Makuhita. And finally was Hala's final Pokemon, Crabrawler. Crabrawler didn't use his Z-move yet, but I did. I used the Normalium Z on Rowlet to use Breakneck Blitz. It hit Crabrawler, but Crabrawler was able to survive, and then since Rowlet used a lot of energy from Breakneck Blitz, it had to rest. And Crabrawler used that to his advantage and used close combat. And Rowlet took a lot of damage. Then finally, Crabrawler took out Rowlet with Mega Punch. And finally, I used Torracat. I didn't want to use Bulbasaur in the first one, Grand Trial, so it was down to Torracat. And now Hala uses Z-move. With the Fightium Z, he used all-out pummeling. I think that's what it's called. And it hit Torracat. I thought Torracat was done. I thought I had lost. But Torracat got up. And Torracat ran. And he used Fire Fang. And and then I remembered Torracat had like fire in his mouth before, and that must have been him trying to use Fire Fang. And looks like Torracat had finally mastered it. It hit Crabrawler, and he took a lot of damage. He also took a lot of damage from Rowlet's breakneck blitz, but that was the only damage Crabrawler had took, while Fire Fang was his second part. And Crabrawler would have survived if he didn't get burned from Torracat's Fire Fang, and the damage from burn took it down, getting me the Fightium Z. Now it was time for me to leave Melemele Island and go to Ulula Island. Professor Kukui came with me, and we went to Hawaii City's marina to go on a boat. We arrived on Ulula Island, and Professor Kukui gave me a map to show me where all the travel sites are. The first one was at this big pond, the second one was at Willow Volcano, and the other one was in this, forest cave. The first one I had to go to was the water trial. So I quickly made my way there, but on my way there, I ended up finding a cute little rock, and I caught it. Then while training, my Grubbin finally evolved into a Charjabug. It looked so cool. I love that cool red and everything. And Charjabug was sweet. Then I found a shiny Cubone. Yes, I know I'm spoiling myself, whatever. And I remembered about Alolan Pokemon. And apparently, Cubone's evolution, Marowak, had Alolan form. I quickly brought back Sandslash to teach Cubone some cool moves before evolving. And now it was time to battle the Totem Wishy-Washy. But before that, we did have a nice little battle with How right outside the trial site. And then we had to battle with this trainer called Gladion, who had this Pokemon called Type Null, which we used Rockruff to defeat. Now it was time to battle the Totem Wishy-Washy, and I used Bulbasaur, who easily got us the Waterium Z. No, he didn't. He took it down. Oh, wait, sorry, I spoiled it. Yeah, Bulbasaur went down. Rowlet went in, and he ended up evolving in... Did he evolve after the Waterium Z? Oh, sorry, that was so embarrassing. Dartrix, yeah, he evolved, and he got us the Waterium Z. Why is the Fireium Z there? Get out. Why do they appear at the same time? Okay, after we... Alright, looks like we fixed the technical issue. So yeah, we went to Willow Volcano and got us the Fireium Z, which Torracat easily took. Then we made our way to the weird forest cave where Torracat used Inferno Overdrive to easily take out the Totem Lurantis, getting us the Gracium Z for Bulbasaur. Now it was time to do some training. And during the training, my Cubone ended up evolving into a Alolan Marowak. Then I had to make my way to the trial site, but I got into this battle with this person called Plumeria, who is apparently the team school admin. And during the battle between my Rockruff and her Salazzle, it ended up evolving into a Lycanroc. But this was a weird one, Dusk form. Apparently, this was one of the rarest versions of Lycanroc, and it had learned Accelerock. So we easily took down the Salazzle. Then we met Olivia, the Kahuna. She healed up my Lycanroc after having that tough battle against her Salazzle. And then it was time for our battle. We led with Dartrix, who was able to take down her nose... was able to take down her nose pass. Then when our Bulldor came in, it took us out with a Rock Slide. So I brought in my Alola Marowak, who was able to take it down with a couple Shadow Bones. But her final Pokemon was Lycanroc, Day form. And it was going to use the Rock type Z move, Continental Crush. I knew I would have to sacrifice... let Alola Marowak take the Z move. And if it survived, I would just use Shadow Bone. But I knew that I would have to let Marowak faint, so Bulbasaur could come in and use the Gracium Z for the Grass type Z move. So it used Continental Crush. It hit Marowak, and it went down. And that was fine. I brought him Bulbasaur, and we used Bloom Doom, and it took out the Lycanroc. Getting us our Rockium Z, I gave it to my Lycanroc. Next up was Ulula Island, and Olivia gave me a Thunderstone as she saw my Charjabug. She said that Charjabug evolves into its final evolution, Vikavolt, when it meets a Thunderstone. So I decided I would do that after I got to Ulula Island. I arrived on Ulula Island and gave the Thunderstone to my Vikavolt, or my Charjabug, and evolved it into a Vikavolt. Now my whole team was shiny, or not shiny, fully evolved. So then I made my way to the Okulani Observatory, where Professor Kukui showed me where the Pokemon League was going to be built. Whoa. Then we easily took out the Totem Vikavolt with Lycanroc's Continental Crush, getting us the Steelium Z, which I decided to give to Marowak for the time being, as it knew Iron Head. And finally, the last trial of Ulula Island. We had to go to this abandoned store thing, and we battled the Mimikyu. This was Alola Marowak's time to get his Ghostium Z. Good thing I put the Steelium Z on it. I used Shadow Bone, but its disguise happened, so I quickly used Steelium Z to use Corkscrew Crash and get me the win, getting me the Ghostium Z. Now my Alola Marowak had it and could use Never-Ending Nightmare. Then it was time for my grand trial against Nanu. His first Pokemon was Sableye, which I easily took down with Torracat. But that's not Torracat. That was my dream. I had a dream of Torracat battling as I saw Nanu training up his Sableye, Krokorok, and Alolan Persian. My Dartrix and Torracat evolved into Decidueye and Incineroar, learning Spirit Shackle and Darkest Lariat. And they hit like a truck during the battle. And I used Incineroar against Sableye, and I took it down. Next up was Krokorok, which Incineroar also took down. And finally was Persian, Battle of the Cats. But this cat was too powerful for Incineroar. So I brought in Lycanroc, who tried handling it, but the dog couldn't handle the cats. Leaving my Decidueye. It tried... and before the battle, Professor Kukui gave my Decidueye a Deciduum Z. He didn't give me an Incinium Z because he had an Incineroar of his own. I didn't care. I just needed Deciduum Z. Persian used Black Hole Eclipse, and I used the Deciduum Z to use Sinister Arrow Raid, and they collided. The Sinister Arrow Raid went into the Black Hole Eclipse, blew it up, and as Persian was falling down from jumping high in the sky, as it hit the ground, the Decidueye used Spirit Shackle to trap it in a spot, and then I used Leaf Blade to take down the Alolan Persian, getting me the Darkium Z. Now it was time for the final trial, grand trial, against Kahuna Hapu on Pony Island. Her first Pokemon was Alolan Dugtrio, which we easily handled with Incineroar. Next up was Gastrodon, which Decidueye was able to handle. And next up was Flygon, which he was also able to handle. Next up was Mudsdale, and I knew Decidueye wasn't a flying type anymore, so he wouldn't be able to survive it. I pretended like I had to switch into Alolan Marowak or my Lycanroc, so it would trigger the Z move. But then I switched Decidueye out for Bulbasaur. Yep, Bulbasaur took the Z move easily, and we took down the Mudsdale with Bloom Doom, getting us to the Groundium Z. Then we made our way to the Altar of the Sun when it met so Nebby evolved into Cosmoem and then quickly into Solgaleo, because in the show it evolved into Solgaleo, not Lunala. So we rode on Solgaleo, went to the Beast World, and then we saved Lusamine, the leader of the Aether Paradise, from Nihilego. I forgot how it's pronounced. But anyways, we saved her. And then we rode on Solgaleo back to the normal world, and the Pokemon League was finished being built, and our team was ready to face it. All of the best trainers here who wanted a chance at winning were there. Gladion was there as well. We had only faced him once, but I didn't care. And yes, I know I left out a lot of storyline from the game, but that's because this video isn't 10 hours long. Especially in Sword and Shield, I'm gonna have to leave out a lot of storyline, because that game has a lot. And this game has some. I did have to skip some, so that's why I'm saying I only battled Gladion once. But yeah. We went through the Battle Royale and we're with our Bulbasaur, and we're able to survive till the top 16. Then we had to go up against a trainer called Fabo, who was like the admin or something of Team Aether Paradise thingy, man, boy, hero, I don't know. He had a Hypno, and we used Alola Marowak. A Shadow Bone did a lot of damage, but then we quickly ended it with a never-ending nightmare. Then after that, next up we had to battle How, once again. His Primarina against my Decidueye. And yes, you guessed it, my Decidueye won. Next up, I had to battle the one and only Guzma, who's apparently the leader of Team Skull. Team Skull had caused a lot, like, in the beginning of my journey, when I only had Rowlet and Grubman, who are now Decidueye, Incineroar, and Vikavolt. But forget that. Guzma's first Pokemon was Scissor, and my first Pokemon was Incineroar. Before I could hit it with a flamethrower, it used U-turn, and then switched into Golisopod. So then I had to switch into the Decidueye, who got hit by a liquidation, and then when it tried going for Poison Jab, Decidueye used Feather Dance. I had never seen it use Feather Dance before, but I don't know. And then Decidueye came in from behind and took out Golisopod with Leaf Blade. Next up was Scissor. Decidueye did know a couple of flying moves, but Scissor ultimately was too powerful. But my Incineroar was still there, and it easily handled the Steely Bug. Now I was in the finals against Gladion. His first Pokemon was Zoroark, and I led with Alola Marowak, and we both used Never-Ending Nightmare, taking out both Zoroark and me. And it was a 3-on-3. Next up, he had his, Silvally against my Vikavolt. I used String Shot to try and hold Silvally in place so I could use Zap Cannon, and it worked. It hit. I learned from his semifinals battle that there was a spot that he threw a memory into to change its typing, as that's how he won. So, yeah. He tried turning Silvally into a ground type, but I covered its spot where it goes in, so it couldn't go and turn into a ground type, so it got hit by Zap Cannon. Then I went in and used Bug Bite. Silvally used Tri-Attack on itself to get the String Shot off, but Bug Bite now dropped. And when Gladion threw a memory, Vikavolt would move. And then I had Vikavolt use Wild Shot. And then I had Vikavolt drop Silvally and then use Wild Charge. And Silvally was falling and got hit. And Silvally couldn't attack. because Vikavolt was too close that if it would blow him up, that it would hit both of them. So Savala had no choice but to let Vikavolt take it out with Wild Charge. Everything was looking good so far. Vikavolt did good damage against Savala, and Alola Marowak did go down, and Alola Marowak was able to take down Zoroark with his never-ending nightmare. I was sad that Alola Marowak had to faint, but he was perfect for the team. Next up was his Lycanroc Midnight form. I knew Vikavolt would have stood a chance, but I just pulled off Thunder Wave and String Shot to try and hold it in place, and I used Zap Cannon, and it took it down. It really survived. And then it used Rock Slide, taking down Vikavolt, leaving my last Pokemon to be Lycanroc Dusk form. I used Accelerock and he used Stone Edge. I was able to dodge through it and then hit it with a powerful Accelerock. But his Lycanroc knew counter, and my Lycanroc didn't know counter, like Ash's. So it hit Lycanroc, and he went flying through the field like he was Decidui, or like he was a Decidui. And he hit the ground, and yeah, Lycanroc went down. So it was a pretty devastating loss after making it to the finals and losing, and in my last region, Kalos, I won. But that just proved that I was growing as a trainer onto the Galar region. So I would arrive in Wedgehurst, where I would meet Hop, who said that his older brother, Leon, was not only the champion of the Galar region, but was apparently the strongest trainer in the world, as he had an exhibition match with his Charizard against Lance's Dragonite, who was the champion of Kanto, who everyone thought was the strongest, but then Leon's Charizard ended up getting the win, giving Leon the new title of not only the Galar champion, but also the strongest trainer in the world. And that made me want to defeat him even more, as he had a Charizard, and so did Chad, and that Charizard really got me fired up. And after I saw Leon's Charizard, it got me even more fired up. And Leon told me I could choose between any of the starters, them being Grookey, the grass starter, Scorbunny, the fire starter, and Sobble, the water. I obviously went with Grookey because I just love these little grass types. And Hop went with Scorbunny, as Hop was actually smart and chose the starter that was strong against both my Pokemon. How? But whatever. We continued on. And on the road, I found this hurt Sobble. Apparently, Leon released the Sobble. So, I decided to catch it. I asked Leon why he did it, and he said that he hoped I would find it and that Sobble was acting it out. So he wanted me to have the Sobble and the Grookey. And he would have done the same thing with Grookey if I chose Sobble, or the same thing with Scorbunny if I chose, if I did the same thing with, he would do the same thing with Grookey if I chose Scorbunny, and he would do the same thing with Scorbunny if I chose Sobble. Okay, yeah, woo, we got Sobble now. Then on my way to, Professor Magnolia's house because Hop wanted his endorsement to get into the gym challenge, I caught a blip bug. It looked really cool, and I wanted it because I needed more bug types. Wait. Then we continued on to Professor Magnolia's house, where we battled Hal. His first Pokemon was Grookey, which we easily took down with our Grookey. And then next up was his Scorbunny, which Grookey went down to. And I brought in Sobble, who wet that little bunny. And then when Wooloo came in, Sabo tried his best, but he couldn't handle the sheer force of Wooloo. So I brought him Blipbug, and during the battle, he ended up evolving into a Dottler. And now with his new power, I won. And this was the kind of bug type I was used to, where it evolves early. But I was thinking that he would evolve into something stronger, so I wouldn't get his next evolution for a long time. But at least I have this little buggy boy. And now I made my way to the wild area, as we had to make our way to Motostoke. And our train got cut off by Wooloo, so we had to go through. And not only did I find this cute little ice cube penguin, I also found a Galarian Corsola. I didn't even know there was a Galarian Corsola. I knew there were Alolan forms, but I didn't know there were Galar forms. And they're apparently called Galarian, not Galarin, like Alolan, Galarin. It's Galarian. Imagine someone pronounced it Galarian. Galarian. Slowpoke. Galarian Corsola. It's Galarian, not Galarian. It's Galarian. Okay, now it's just not my rant. I trained up my Ice and Ghost type Pokemon, as my last Ghost type was... Oh wait, I had a Ghost type last time. My last Ghost type or Ice type was Vanillux in college. Yes, I know it's Unova. Thank you very much. I know I could have chose like Bergmite or something, but I didn't. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. So, then I arrived in Motostoke, got through the Team Yell Grunts in the Bodhi drop-in, went through the opening ceremony, battled Hop, and then on my way to the Galar Mine, my Grookey ended up evolving into a Thwackey. Yay! Which I easily used to Bash Speed. Next up was this route, where as I was running down to Turffield, I got hit by a Wooloo, which was Milo. Milo said that he was looking forward to my gym battle with him, and I was excited too. So we went back to Turffield, and I decided to train on my Pokemon for a little bit, where my Sobble ended up evolving into a Drizzile. Or it was in my dreams. They said that for some reason my Sobble wasn't evolving, so I went and trained, and then he ended up evolving into a Drizzile. Ha, I pranked a lot of you. So, now it was time for my battle with Milo. His first Pokemon was Gossifleur, which I took down with Ice Cube. And then I also took down his Eldegoss with Ice Cube, getting me the Grass Badge. Then I quickly ran over to the Hulbury, where I had to battle Hop again, but my Drizzile smashed his Rod Boot. Then I made my way to the lighthouse to meet Nessa so we could go back to the gym and have our gym battle. So, Nessa led with her Goldeen, and I led with my Galarian Corsola, who I easily took down with a couple of Shadow Balls. Next up was Aracuda, who hit me with an Aqua Jet, but I was able to take it down with a couple Hexes and Shadow Balls. And finally was the big bad Dreadnought. I tried using my Galarian Corsola to do some damage, but Dreadnought was too powerful, taking it down. My next Pokemon was Bulbasaur, who was able to take down Dreadnought and give me the Water Badge. Then I made my way through Galar Mine number 2, defeating bees and stuff, defeating Team Yell with Hop, and then meeting Kabu, the next gym leader. And then I made my way to the Bodhi drop-in, where I smashed Marnie. And then I arrived at Motostoke Stadium, where apparently Hop already got his Fire Badge. I quickly made my way in to battle Kabu. His first Pokemon was Ninetales, which I was easily able to smash with Drizzile, followed by Arcanine. And then I also took down his Centiskorch with these, getting me the Fire Badge. Next up, I had to make my way to Hammerlock, and then make my way west of Hammerlock, the Stoneon side. And while I was training in the wild area, my Dollar ended up evolving into an Orbeetle. Yay. And then my Galarian Corsola evolved into a Cursola. C-U-R-S-O-L-A. Not C-O-R-S-O-L-A. Cursola. Not Corsola. Cursula. Yay! Now with my new power-up of 2 evolutions, I made my way to Hammerlock, where I met Raihan, which would be my final hurdle, but I had to prove to him I could challenge him after I got 4 more gym badges. Then I left and I stopped Team Skull from harming a silly cobra, and they thought I was trying to harm it. Some people just don't know. And then I arrived at Stormside, which was a ghost gym. Yeah. And if you didn't know, Ice Cube and Cursula and Galarian Corsola are all Shield exclusives, so yes, there are the Shield gyms. And Ice Cube went into battle in cheer mode. Yeah, it was Galarian Corsola. His first Pokemon was Galarian Yamask, and I led with Drizzile to take it down. Next up, Mimikyu went down to Drizzile. And finally was his own Cursula. Alistair had his own Cursula. And we had a battle of the Drizzile and Cursula, and his Cursula won. Then we had a battle of the Cursulas, and I took down his Cursula. And finally was his Gengar. I knew how pranky and shit and cool they could be. Like weird and creepy and stuff. Because I had one. And I knew how crazy they could be. As I had the craziest one. Yeah, they literally did a test and said that there was no other crazy Gengar like that. So Alistair either had the second craziest Gengar or the most serious. Because he literally just stood there. He didn't even smile. It was just like... just had a straight face. But then I hit him with a Shadow Ball. And that triggered him. That was the sound of his face cracking into a smile. And then he started going crazy. And I realized that Alistair had the second craziest. As I remembered, the doctor said something about this Gengar being related to another Gengar. And I realized my Gengar was from the Galar region. Ah! But I took down his crazy ghost with my dead piece of coral, getting me the gym badge. Then after stopping Bede from destroying a mural, I made my way through the Glenwood Tangle, this mushroom forest, where my Thwackey ended up evolving into a Rillaboom. Then I arrived in Ballenly, where I had to battle the fairy gym leader, Opal. Her first Pokemon was Galarian Weezing, which Rillaboom handled easily along with her Mawile. And then when her Togekiss case came in, I switched into Ice Cube and was able to take it down. Finally, it was her Alcremie. Ice Cube and Rillaboom both went down to Alcremie, so I brought in Bulbasaur, who was able to take it down with a Sludge Bomb, getting me the Fairy Badge. Then I made my way back to Hammerlock and had another battle with Hop before making my way to Kirchester. Arriving in Kirchester, it was pretty cold, and I knew it was an ice gym. So I went in. Her first Pokemon was Frostmoth? I don't remember her team fully. I think it was Frostmoth. Yeah, I think it was Frostmoth. Yeah. First Pokemon, Frostmoth. Let's just say that. And my Drizzile was able to take it down. Next up, I believe, was Galarian Darmanitan? I think. Drizzile also took that down. I don't remember her third Pokemon. I remember her ace, but I don't remember the third Pokemon. Let's just say she had an overpowered, super strong Lapras because I didn't remember another ice type that she had. Yeah, I can't remember. So, I guess we'll just do that Drizzile lost to Lapras, so I brought in Bulbasaur, who also lost to Lapras. And then I brought in Rillaboom, who won! Yay! Getting me the Ice Badge. Then I had to stop Team Yell from stealing a Dreadnought, and my Drizzile evolved into a Inteleon and shot them with Snipe Shot. Then I arrived at Spikemuth, and I met Marnie again, who I had to battle, and I won. And finally, it was time. to get my 7th gym badge against Piers. His first Pokemon was Scrafty, so I led with Orbeetle, who was able to take it down with some bug moves. And next up was Malamar, who Orbeetle also took down. Obstagoon was up next, and when Orbeetle tried using Bug Buzz, it used Obstruct, and then it used Throat Chop, so it couldn't use any sound moves. And Orbitle's only moves were Struggle Bug and Bug Buzz as moves, and they were both sound related. So Orbeetle couldn't attack because its other moves were Psychic and Psybeam. So Obstagoon just ended it with Dark Pulse. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I took down I forgot where I was. Oh yeah, Obstagoon took down Orbeetle. So I brought in Rillaboom, who took out Obstagoon with a drum beating, and next up was Skuntank, who poisoned Rillaboom and took it down. And finally, I brought in Inteleon. This gym was gonna be hard because I only had 3. I chose Orbeetle, Rillaboom, and Inteleon. Being my first 4. He each got 4, and I got 3. But Snipe Shot was a lot. And then with Skuntank's ability, Aftermath, he tried making it a tie. But Inteleon was full health. He survived, getting me the Dark Badge. Now it was time to battle Raihan. I had gotten the 4 gym badges since I lost to him. Since I met him first. I got the Ghost Badge from Alistair, the Fairy Badge from Opal, the Ice Badge from Melanie, and the Dark Badge from Piers. It was time. I walked in, and I got ready for the double battle. I used Inteleon and Ice-Q, as his Pokemon were Gigalith and Flygon. I easily took them down with an Ice Beam and Snipe Shot. And next up was... I can't believe it! Sandaconda and Duraludon. I don't know why I made that. Also cool, but... I Dynamaxed my Ice-Q and he had no Dynamaxing. My Ice-Q took down Duraludon with an Ice Beam and Snipe Shot. They passed. A little bit of Snipe Shot froze. But it still took down Sandaconda and took down Duraludon, getting me the Dragon Badge. Now it was time to make my way to Winden, right? In the time I was training in the wild area, Hop had already defeated Melanie, Piers, and Raihan. Because he lost to Melanie, he told me, and then he said after that he needed to go beat Melanie and Piers again. So I don't know why time flied so fast while I was training. So me and Hop took our train to Winden, and we went into it. Me and Hop weren't facing each other. There were only 4 trainers, so me and Marnie faced off in the first round. And I won, because I don't fully remember her team. Then Hop also won his, meaning we were facing in the finals. This wouldn't determine which one of us would fight Leon, but it was time. We faced each other. Rillaboom took down his Dubwool and Snorlax. And next up was his Pincurchin, which Rillaboom also took down. But finally, Rillaboom's streak of knocking out Hop's Pokemon ended with Corviknight. So I brought in Ice-Q, who dodged Steel moves, and took it down with Ice Beam, leaving his last 2 Pokemon. I think it was second last Pokemon. I'm trying to remember. No, not the whole. No. I think it was Cramorant. I don't know for sure, but I'm going with Cramorant. I'm sorry if it wasn't Cramorant as his other Pokemon, except for his starter, but I'm sorry if it's not. So now he brought in Cramorant, which took down my Ice Cube. And now I wish I had my Rillaboom right now. Or maybe my Ampharos or Vikavolt. But I didn't want to use them. I brought in Orbeetle, and despite its type disadvantage with I think Cramorant being a flying type, Orbeetle was able to take it down. After a devastating loss against Obstagoon, Orbeetle had everything on the line, and he won, leaving an Obstagoon to cheer him on. Orbeetle saw Obstagoon with peers in the stands cheering him on, which got Obstagoon powerful against Cinderace. Obstagoon dodged its Pyro Balls and attacks. It was psychic, but ultimately Cinderace survived and hit Orbeetle with Pyro Ball, and that's how Orbeetle went down. But Obstagoon was still happy. No one felt bad for Orbeetle. Well, I mean, like, no one was like into him like, oh my god, he lost. I mean, he was up against a fire type, and he's a bug psychic. What do you expect? I was honestly surprised Orbeetle survived that long. I wanted to weaken him down, so I used Cursula and Bulbasaur, who both went down to him. But Cinderace was super weak, and I left my Inteleon. He was hoping I had a different Pokemon, but nope. We used Pyro Ball and Snipe Shot. They both missed. They both went through each other. 2 explosions happened across the field. One being black smoke from the fire, and one being steam from the superheated Snipe Shot from being so close to the Pyro Ball. But Inteleon almost fell. But ultimately, Cinderace went down. I defeated Hop once again. I was so proud of Inteleon. And I knew if I could defeat Hop's Cinderace, I could defeat Leon's Charizard. I quickly made my way through the gym rematches, defeating the Bede, who was now the Fairy Gym leader, Nessa, and Alistair, and Raihan. After defeating Raihan, I could now challenge Leon. After I went through the Darkest Day stuff, now it was time to battle him. His first Pokemon was Aegislash. My first Pokemon, Cursula. My Cursula was able to dodge his Shadow Ball and then hit him with a Shadow Ball, taking him down. Next up was Haxorus, which Ice Cube was able to take down. And he also took down his Dragon Ball. This was good. Next up was Mr. Rhyme, which Cursula ended up going down to. So I brought in my Orbeetle, who was able to take him down, leaving only 2 more Pokemon. He brought in his Rhyperior. I stayed in with Orbeetle so I could try and get in some more damage, but he ultimately went down. I brought in Ice Cube, who I thought could do some damage, but it didn't work and he went down. But my last Pokemon were all good against rock types, so I sent Bulbasaur into the field against this big rocky monster and took him down with a Seed Bomb. Yep, Seed Bomb. Finally, this was the moment I was waiting for. Leon's Charizard. Everyone roared as they saw my little Bulbasaur. Charizard. And Bulbasaur got fired up. He hadn't battled the Charizard in such a long time. And it was time to battle one of the strongest Charizards in history. Bulbasaur had a fight with Charizard, super strong against super strong Pokemon, battling each other. They went head to head in a clash of power, and Charizard was honestly surprised, not survived. Bulbasaur went in for the tackle, but Charizard dodged and hit with Flamethrower, and that was all Bulbasaur could take, taking him down. I went out onto the field to grab Bulbasaur and put him down next to me. I brought in Rillaboom next, and Leon saw how much Rillaboom had grown since he gave him to me. It was a close battle. Charizard and Rillaboom both faced the power of Clash. Charizard took a drum beating. Rillaboom took a Flamethrower, but ultimately he went down to another Flamethrower, leaving only my Inteleon He saw my Inteleon and he felt a bigger sense. He felt the sense of when Leon threw Sobble onto the rock and he landed there and hurt. Inteleon wanted revenge. Inteleon and Charizard fought hard, and Charizard grabbed Inteleon, threw him all the way over to Leon, and Leon said sorry to Inteleon, and then yelled for Charizard to use Blast Burn. But Inteleon got up, and he used the membrane on his back to fly, and then he dodged it, and as he jumped to the side, he used Snipe Shot, and he hit. It hit Charizard, almost taking him down. But with that time, I could use it. I ended it with Water Pledge. I hit the ground, and spouts of water started spouting from the ground. Then they started sprouting all around Charizard, and he told Charizard to go up. But Charizard couldn't make it up in time. He got hit by powerful Water Pledge. Leon saw Charizard flying in the air, coming down, and then right next to him. He was hoping Charizard got up, but he didn't. While Inteleon was still standing, Charizard wasn't. Making me the new Galar champion and the trainer strongest in the world. Lance that was now declared the strongest, but I didn't think so. I had a full battle with Lance, and my Inteleon was able to defeat his Dragonite. And then everyone declared that I was the strongest trainer in the world, and that my Inteleon was one of the strongest Pokemon in the world. So it finally came to an end. My Pokemon team, if I was in the anime. It's over. I can't believe it. I worked so hard on this, guys. I can't believe it. I love all of you guys. The support helped me get through this. I've been having a tough time lately, but thank you guys so much. I know this has been a crazy ride from Kanto to Johto to Hoenn to Sinnoh, to Unova to Kalos to Alola to Galar. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the support. I couldn't have made it here without you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.